We as a church have been going through Exodus quite a lot this year, and we're going to be carrying on where we are up to in the story of Exodus so far. Don't worry if you haven't heard some of it. If you really want to, you can catch up online. It's all on our YouTube channel. You can do all that if you want to. But today I'm going to kind of catch us up with where we're up to, and then we're going to be looking at Exodus 15 together, verses 1 to 21. And so if you were here last week, we heard the bit in the narrative in Exodus where the people escaped through the Red Sea. It's a very well-known story where God parts those waters and the people escape through it. The Israelites escape through the waters, okay? And once they're on dry land the other side, you find that the sea comes back over the Egyptians, and the Israelites have finally reached safety. And so that's where we're up to, and that's on the back of all those years of slavery the Israelites have had in Egypt. They finally reached something of freedom. And so, but there's still a lot that needs to be doing, and that's where we pick up the narrative now. But sometimes it's a bit like us in life, isn't it? We talk about, you might have heard people use phrases such as like, I've drawn a line in the sand, or something like that means I'm starting afresh. This is literally, the sea has come back over, and we're now the other side of it. We're going to start afresh. But they weren't quite there yet, because they weren't in the promised land, which God had promised them. They were the other side of the sea, but they weren't in the promised land. And there's still work to do. And it's the same with a Christian life in a sense. You know, salvation is only the first step. Becoming a follower of Jesus is only the first step. It doesn't stop after that. Now, you're saved at that point. But then there's so much more to life at that point if you keep moving forward in God and following Him. But there are also good moments in life to pause and celebrate what God has done. And that's what we're coming up to now in Exodus 15, a moment where they pause and they celebrate. And we see them sing songs of worship. And we see Moses and we see his sister Miriam leading the people in songs of celebration. And that's what we're going to find today. And as we look at this together, it should help us think about the songs we sing and the place of worship in God's victory. You know, for me, this is why we start our Sundays in worship, because it's the place we're coming. We're not coming with our own agenda. We're coming to worship God. And we want to be in that place where we're worshiping Him for the victory He has won, and we come to a place of worship. And that's why we have a nice extended time of worship at the beginning, because actually it should all point towards that. It should all point towards worshiping God. And so let's pick up this song, and it might be a bit different to some of the songs we sing in Exodus 15. It says this: Then Moses and the Israelites sang this song to the Lord. I will sing to the Lord, for He is highly exalted. Both horse and driver He has hurled. He is my God, and I will praise Him. My father's God, and I will exalt Him. The Lord is a warrior. The Lord is His name. Pharaoh's chariots and his army He has hurled into the sea. The best of Pharaoh's officers are drowned in the Red Sea. The deep waters have covered them. They sank to the depths like a stone. Your right hand, Lord, was majestic in power. Your right hand, Lord, shattered the enemy. In the greatness of your majesty, you threw down those who opposed you. You unleashed your burning anger. It consumed them like stubble. This is my favorite line. By the blast of your nostrils, the water piled up. The surging waters stood up like a wall. The deep waters congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy boasted, I will pursue. I will overtake them. I will divide the spoils. I will gorge myself on them. I will draw my sword and my hand will destroy them. But you blew with your breath, and the sea covered them. They sank like lead in the mighty waters. Who among the gods is like you, Lord? Who is like you? Majestic in holiness, awesome in glory, working wonders. You stretch out your right hand, and the earth swallows your enemies. In your unfailing love, you will lead the people you have redeemed. In your strength, you will guide them to your holy dwelling. The nations will hear and tremble. Anguish will grip the people of Philistia. The chiefs of Edom will be terrified. The leaders of Moab will be seized with trembling. The people of Canaan will melt away. Terror and dread will fall on them. By the power of your arm, they will be as still as a stone. Until your people pass by, Lord, until the people you brought pass by. You will bring them in and plant them on the mountain of your inheritance. The place, Lord, you made for your dwelling, the sanctuary, Lord, your hands established. The Lord reigns forever and ever. When Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen went into the sea, the Lord brought the waters of the sea back over them. But the Israelites walked through the sea on dry ground. Then Miriam the prophet, Aaron's sister, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her. With timbrels and dancing, Miriam sang to them, "Sing to the Lord, for he is highly exalted." Also, I don't know what the tune is to that. I considered trying to sing it to you in some way, but I decided not to, because even with my musical ability, I couldn't put a tune to that. It doesn't work like a lot of our worship songs seem to. There's a lot of, our songs, they rhyme nicely, and there's lots of things that they artistic license. It doesn't really look like that in what they've done here. Their song is very different to what we might know as songs today. But that's because this song isn't like a song that we might sing today, because this is a song of celebrating victory. There's a few things that are going on here and help us to think about worship. So the first thing I want to think about is actually what worship means in the past, in the present, and the future. See, songs of the past are when worship celebrates victory. Here we find a song that Moses and Miriam, which sounds very strange to us, that even with the help of AI, if you were to put it to a tune, it would still be really odd to sing. Because have you ever sung a song about his nostrils and blowing and things like that? You haven't, have you? Probably. But once again, you might look at that and go, what on earth is the writer talking about? Take into account these people have just watched the wind come in and hold the sea back. In their mind, it's like they're using artistic license to say those sort of terminology to describe what God is doing, but that's what they're doing here. So Moses and Miriam, they're focusing on the victory that God has just won for the people. And this song that they sing recounts the story. And as you go through the story, look how often it talks about the Lord. It talks about, it's a credit to God for this decisive victory. They're not singing about themselves. They're not singing, look what we've done. They're singing, it's all about Him, His mighty arm, His strength. The trouble is, when we're left to our own devices, very often we can end up in a place where we forget what God has done for us. But there is something about singing of victories, one, that shapes our thought life and keeps the salvation we have received front of mind. This is why, for me, I love coming together as church and worshiping. I love worshiping. And when you do it with a room full of people, I mean, if you forget worship for a moment, they say singing together is just really, really good for you. But if you add worship of God in the mix as well, where all of a sudden you're remembering all that He has done for you, amazing grace, my chains have gone. You sing that together with a group of other people. There's something in that, isn't there? There's something as you're celebrating and worshiping God for the victory He has won for you together. You can sing on your own, of course you can. But I tell you what, I love gathering together with you all and singing. There's something about being in a room like this, full of people and singing songs together of worship to God. The victory He has won. It helps us. It helps keeps our mind focused on Him. It helps us to remember what He has done. And it's so true in life, isn't it? Why is it, I'm probably sure all of us, if not all of us, nearly all of us, we find it easier to remember song lyrics than maybe book lyrics or something else. Why is it? Because songs have a way of sticking in our minds. And when we come together and we worship, when we come together and sing songs of the past, what God has done, what Jesus did on that cross, it's so much more than just singing words on a screen. I've often found it with people who, they'll come and say, I didn't like the worship today. I've said that before. That's okay, because it's not about you. It's not about whether you like it or not. That's a grumbling heart. Actually, our worship is about God. It's about coming to him and thanking him and remembering him and all he has done for us. You might not like the musical tunes, sure, but we've all got different music we like, haven't we? I went to an opera the other day. Never been before, ticked it off, probably not going to go again. But it was amazing to go and see it. The singing was incredible. Is it my style of music? No, but I'm glad I went. I experienced something different. And like I said before, I think worship's going to shift over the next 10, 15, 20 years. As Christianity is booming in other nations around the world, we're going to get influences in worship from Asian nations, from South American nations, from African nations. And all of a sudden, our worship music may not sound like the music we hear on our radios. It may sound different. But the good news is it's not about you. It's about God. And we can still worship him. It helps remind us of the victory that he has won. See, for the Israelites, as they sung this song, salvation was being delivered from Egypt through the Red Sea. For us, salvation has come through Jesus on the cross. When he defeated the powers of sin, of death, and of the devil. And it does us good to sing songs of the cross. It does. Because we both remember and celebrate the victory that has been won for us in Jesus Christ. See, I could tell you the story from the Gospels about Jesus going to the cross and dying, but I can guarantee you're more likely, you remember the story roughly, but you'll know the song. You better sing the songs. Worship is so important for us. But not only just songs of the past, when we celebrate victory, whilst that's important, it's also important to sing songs of the present, because I truly believe that worship wins victory. See, worship is not only something that looks to the past, but there is a real-time element to it, as the songs of God's people play a part in victory being won over the enemies. See, in this song, competing narratives were being asserted. In verse 9, you read this. You read, "The enemy boasted, I will pursue, I will overtake them, I will divide the spoils, I will gorge myself for them, I will draw my sword, and my hand will destroy them." Competing narrative about how the Israelites would be destroyed. But as we worship and as we declare the truths of God in worship, and as we do that together, we enter something called spiritual warfare. As we're standing up in worship against the things that are not of God. We counter the false narratives that are out there. My chains are gone, I've been set free. What does the world try and tell you? You're still chained up, you're bound to something. No. We sing songs of victory that can help set us free in the present. Worship is warfare. See, the Bible tells us our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against rulers and principalities in the spiritual realm. How do you fight against that? Prayer is one way. Worship is another. When all else seems to be chaos around you, when your world seems to be falling apart around you, one of the most powerful things you can do is worship God in those moments. See, the powers of that spiritual realm that want to attack you, they seek to deceive, divide, and dehumanize you. And the primary weapons of the enemy is accusations and lies. But as the truth of God's word is declared and the power of the blood of Jesus Christ is sung about, our hearts can be realigned back to the truth of who God is and who we are as children of God because of that. Our hearts can be realigned to that truth. And things shift in the spiritual realm. How often do our minds go to things that are not of God? In those moments, we need to turn to worship. It's hard. We've got to come to him. Because if we want to see things shift in life, we can't just do it in our own strength. We've got to come to the God who says, I've come to set you free. We've got to come to him in worship that says, I'm not going to listen to the lies of the enemy. I'm going to worship God for who he is, what he has done, and what he's still doing today. See, worship not only remembers God's victory, but it brings us something of the power of that victory into the battles that we face as the church today. What's the answer in life as we face difficulties? Is it to run away? Is it to try and do things on our own? No, it's to gather and to worship. It's to gather together and to worship. This is why for me it's such an important thing where I look at, people who tell me, well, you don't need to go to church to be a Christian. Really? How'd you do it on your own? I need you lot around me to encourage me. Hopefully you need all these other people around you to encourage you. I think when life is tough, we need each other to worship together. I think we need to be able to come together and worship. It doesn't always mean singing. It could mean praying. It could be a whole number of things. But I think we need each other. And victory doesn't mean we're going to get what we want when we want it. But victory helps take our eyes from what I call navel gazing down here to looking up to heaven. It takes our eyes off our problems and looks at one who's already said, well, I'm here and I've defeated all your problems for you. It may not be in this life, it may be in the next, but I've won the victory. Worship wins victory. That's why worship is so important. This is why the Israelites stopped and worshipped, because they were recounting something that God has done. But not only do these songs, this worship, celebrate the victory of what God has done, celebrate the victory that God is doing now, that it helps win victory, but worship, they can also be songs of the future. It can declare victory. You see, the song that the Israelites sing moves beyond past and present into the future victories that they believe God will give. In faith, they're believing that God will lead them into the promised land. Now, there's some debate as to when this song was written. It might have been written later, but some of the promises of God might not have come to pass yet. And so what you get is there's almost a prophetic image going on here in this book about the further victories that are going to come along the way because the people are going to follow God. Now, as we're going to learn as we go through Exodus, as you can go through the rest of the Old Testament, the people don't always follow God. And what tends to happen? They tend to fall. They tend to fall away from God or end up in exile or something ends up happening. But there's something prophetic here where they're singing about what God has promised in the future. They are taking the things that God has spoken to them about and confidently declaring that it will be so. So when we sing songs, like that last song we sung, the last verse in it was all about heaven, about when this everything dissolves like snow, when one day we'll be face to face with God. Why can we sing that? Because it's a promise of God, and we can sing about the future. We can worship God because the promises he has made. Worship should declare the victory that is still to come. As we come to God, we can sing songs that declare the victory that we've not yet seen, and we might not see for a long, long time. But we can come and worship him because of that. Worship involves celebrating what God has already done, but also declaring what he will do. We have many promises of God for his ongoing presence with us, for his provision, for his power in our lives, for the glorious new creation to come when Jesus returns, when he brings justice, when he wipes away every tear and makes all things right. And as we sing about these things in our worship, our faith is stirred. And then we can be prophetically declaring the future reality of what God will do. Worship talks about the future as well. And so as we come, and as we worship in singing as we normally do, we're not just singing a few songs. We don't just gather and sing a few songs. I don't ask the worship team, the worship leaders, to pick their favorite songs. That's not what worship is. So much more than that. People who lead worship, they're not song leaders, they're worship leaders. They're meant to lead the people into a place of worship where we can celebrate victory, where worship can win victory, and where worship declares victory. That's what worship is. And that's why when we come and sing, you may think it's not my style. And that's okay. That's okay, because it's not about your style. It's about God. It's about focusing on him. There are many styles of worship, and that's okay. We as a church worship in one way, and that's okay. But if that's not your style, that's fine. But don't sit here and grumble about it. Find a church where you can worship God, and when you can worship him in a way where you can celebrate his victory, where you can see victory won, and where you can see victory declared. If when you come into a time of singing and worship, that's not how you're worshiping, then I suggest we probably need to pray, or maybe even go to, well, let's find somewhere where that can be the case for you. Because that's what worship should be for all of us. That's what worship should be for all of us. Style will always divide, but worship should unite. We'll always have instruments we prefer, voices we prefer, but ultimately it's all about God. And so here's what I want us to do. I've decided I want to speak a bit less today, because I feel we need to go into some worship. And songs have power. The words have power. And I was at a Thanksgiving service this week, and we sung a song, and it's an old song. And it was one of those songs I was like, oh my word. They told the story before the song, and I can't remember the full story. It's written by a man called Henry Spafford. An old song. Oh, Greg's nodding. Do you know what the song is? Oh, he does. When peace like a river, it is well with my soul. And the story goes, I'll do my best. Don't stone me if I get the story not completely right. Basically, he had about 4 kids and a wife, and he sent them on a boat to go, I think he felt God was calling him somewhere else, to America, to England, something along those lines. And he sent them ahead of himself because he had a few bits still to do. And when they were on the way, the boat ran into trouble and sank, and he lost his 4 kids and his wife. And news got back to him. And when news got back to him, he then obviously realized he had to come. So as he comes, and as the boat gets to roughly the place where the boat sank, which had his kids on, his wife survived, he wrote this song, When Peace Like a River, and about it being, it is well with my soul. That's worship right there, because that's seeing something bigger. That's seeing God in something which seems impossible. And so what I've asked Maggie to do, she's going to play it. We're just going to play, yeah? We're going to sing this song as best we can. We haven't got a voice. We're going to do our best to sing it. Because I just feel, you can sing if you want to. So this is what the worship team love it when I throw these real curveballs in, okay? This was my thing this morning. I walked in at about, 9:30 and said, oh, do you know this song? And Maggie did, fortunately. So, and don't worry, the words are going to appear on the screen in a minute as well. But I just thought sometimes worship should go deeper than what we let it go. Should I sing it? Well, if you want to, yeah, you're going to be focusing on God, not my voice, so I'm not going to sing it. So, but we're going to try and sing this, and as we sing it, I want you to know how this song was written, in the way I've just told you, because our worship and the way we worship is more about just singing a few songs that we know or don't know. It is so much more. Can you imagine when Moses came to Israelites and said, here's a song we're going to sing? You know, they probably didn't know the words at first. They had to learn them. They had to sing them. But as they sung them, they realized the song was declaring the victory of God. And as we sing this song, I want you to let it go deep. I want you to worship in such a way as you're seeing the victory of God. The victory that he has won. The victory, and you might be praying this as we're singing it, the victory that you're wanting him to win in your life, but also the future victory that is to come. So can you just start playing the tune so we can get you to hear the tune a little bit? You'll probably recognize it in a minute. So we won't sing it yet, just get used to the tune. So, don't worry, we're all singing. We're all going to worship. Okay, that's a tune. So let's stand. And we're going to sing this song.
It's not a solo, I'll tell you that.
And I want you to feel it. I want you to feel it in the heart. Worship is so much more than the song choice. Let's sing it.